ladies and gentlemen, Terry Platt for all of her work over the years and her tremendous effort in the last election. Terry. Hello, New Democrats. Hello. 267 days to the next federal election. We know the election will be on October 19, 2015, because it is the law, and our Prime Minister, Stephen Harper, has promised. But be prepared for earlier. 267 days to prepare, to work hard, mount the strongest campaign possible to defeat the Harper Conservative government and elect the first New Democratic government in the history of Canada. This is our goal. That is the positive vision for the future of this country. A New Democratic government that respects our political democracy, that protects universal health care, that honors and respects our First Nations people, that will introduce a $15 a day national daycare program. That will restore the funding to CBC. And most importantly, will regulate the oil and gas sector, protect our environment, and support a diversified clean energy sector to grow our economy. These are the priorities of a New Democratic Party government. I have to take you to the dark side now. Let's look at Mr. Harper's Conservative government.
You have to?
I do. Just so everybody. The Conservatives have no compelling vision for the future of this country. They are obsessed with power and the need to control. They are focused on power and eliminating any voice of dissension or opposition to drive their reckless agenda. Since winning power 8 years ago, the federal Conservatives have chipped away at programs that have helped define a compassionate, caring Canada that has been built over many generations in this country. Groups dedicated to improving human rights have seen their funding reduced or eliminated. And they continue to gut our fragile, our precious environmental protection laws. And never in Canadian history has an attack on science and science has been so comprehensive as by this Harper administration. And now we have the Conservatives' unfair and very expensive income splitting scheme, a $2 billion a year plan to help the richest 15% of the population. We know which party really stands up for the middle class and working class people, and that's New Democrats. I could go on, and the list goes on and on about the Conservative record. But something that is a real concern for me, is a real concern for us in the riding, and perhaps in the country, is strategic voting. Here lies the real concern. Some people might consider that the Liberals and the Conservative, the Liberals and the NDP, well, we can work together, absolutely. We have worked together, everybody knows that. We work together, we agree on some things. But strategic voting is a mistake, I believe. Because it doesn't work, it is anti-democratic, and it encourages people to vote against their own political views. The Liberals and the New Democrats were not the same party. The Liberal Party has a history of big talk on the environment, but once in power, fails to deliver. 13 long years of dithering on climate change. The result, carbon emissions have spiked as much under the Liberal government as they have under the Harper regime. The Liberals are famous for promising things and then ignoring them after the election. For example, Liberals' reversals and past pledges, such as implementing the North American Free Trade Agreement Act, the GST, as well as failing to deliver on repeated promises to create a national child care program. And when it comes to low corporate taxes, the Liberals are step in step with the Conservatives. I don't know about you, but Liberal platitudes about solving the problems of the middle class just don't resonate. Justin Trudeau, in fact, pledged that serving the interests and solving the problems of the middle class will be what he thinks about every day from morning until night. Really? Beyond the big, tired labels, what does Mr. Trudeau and the Liberal Party really stand for? What are their policies? What are their values? Well, on big oil, they have some clear positions. Let me quote, on Kinder Morgan Pipeline, quote, Justin Trudeau, "I am very interested in the Kinder Morgan Pipeline. I certainly hope that we're going to be able to get that pipeline approved." On Keystone XL, Mr. Trudeau vigorously supports this pipeline. Quote, "Opposition to the Keystone XL pipeline is not rooted in science. It is a failing of our Prime Minister to actually make a proper case for the Keystone XL pipeline by demonstrating that you cannot separate the economy and the environment." I heard that statement somewhere by, it was John Weston, something like that. The more we observe Mr. Trudeau's energy policy, the harder it is to distinguish it from that of the Conservatives. According to the International Monetary Fund, Canadian subsidies associated with fossil fuels, including indirect costs pertaining to climate change and health, amount to $26.4 billion per year. It is time to stop subsidizing fossil fuels. We Democrats, we care about environmental protection and the kind of world that we will be leaving for our children and future generations. We need to start now to build a diverse and sustainable economy, not a short-sighted rip-it and ship-it resource extraction policy that we've had for years. It is time for a change. We must reshape our energy future for the 21st century, and that means moving away from fossil fuel and dependence and towards a new green and clean energy future. If we make it a priority, Canada could become a leader in clean energy in the 21st century. One of the highest job growth and job creation sectors of our time. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for a change. It is time for a positive change. It is time for common sense solutions and concrete plans. And with a new Democratic Party government under the leadership of Tom Mulcair, we can make it. We can make that change happen. Yes, I know this riding is difficult. It will be difficult for us. And the road ahead will have its challenges. I have no illusions about that. But we must fight for our values as a party. We must pull together. And now, members, our task ahead is now to convince people that there is a clear, realistic plan for a better future. You Democrats, let's pull together and let's make our voices heard.